Welcome back to the Continental Youth Experiment, Episode 2. We pick things up on the 24th of January, the day before our very first competitive fixture. The CONMEBOL Academy is about to kick off its Argentine Premier Division campaign, sitting in Group B of the opening stage, and our first opponent is about as tough as it gets. River Plate, one of the true powerhouses of South American football. Before we get into that, let's look at how preseason went. 5 friendlies played, 5 wins, home and away, including a 7-2 demolition of Boca Juniors. A flawless run heading into the real thing. But River Plate away from home is an entirely different proposition for a squad this young. Now, the way I manage these academies is simple. If a player performs in a friendly, in training, off the bench, wherever, he earns his place. I don't pick and stick based on reputation. This has already reshaped the starting 11 heading into our first competitive game. Kawa Santos starts in goal. At fullback, 2 players have forced their way into the side purely on form. Vinicius Tobias at right back and Alexander at left back, pushing our 2 more recognisable names, Wesley and Roman Vega, to the bench. Big reputations mean nothing here if someone else is outplaying you in pre-season. A few players have really stood out through these friendlies. Joel Ordóñez at centre-back has been sensational. 20 years old, from Ecuador, already carrying star player status, valued between roughly 7.8 and 9.2 million, with 3-star current ability and 3.5-star potential. A genuine standout. Marlon Gomez has been excellent in the defensive midfield role. 21, Brazilian. Another player who forced his way in from the bench through sheer performance. Valued 9 to 10 million, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. Valentin Barco, an Argentinian name people will actually recognise, already capped twice for the senior national team, has been superb in central midfield. 20 years old, valued 8 to 9.4 million, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. And in the attacking midfield positions, Franco Mastantuono and Facundo Buonanotte have both been consistently excellent. The 2 Argentinians holding down those spots without any real challenge from the bench. Up top, Nico Paz has been outstanding as well. Genuinely can't fault how he's played through pre-season. Where we are light is a second striker. Esteban started well in the early friendlies, but has picked up a knock and dropped to the bench while he recovers. The scouting network is actively out searching for an under-21 South American striker with real potential to add depth up front. Now over to the AFC Academy, our Asian Confederation youth side. This is the next team set to kick off its competitive season. The J1 League gets underway on the 15th of February, and our opening fixture is against Yokohama F. Marinos. Preseason has been another perfect run. 4 friendlies played, 4 wins, all against Japanese opposition. Here's the first 11 we've settled on heading into the season, again picked purely on form. A few standouts through preseason. Lucas Harrington has been genuinely solid at just 17 years old, still very much a squad player at this stage, valued between roughly 275,000 and 2.1 million, 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. His determination stat is notably high, which shows in how he approaches games. Musab Al-Juwayr has been excellent as well. 21 years old, already with 20 caps and 6 goals for Saudi Arabia. A genuine star player for us, valued between 1.9 and 5.8 million, 3-star current ability. What's really interesting is how balanced he is as a box-to-box midfielder. He's been controlling games from that role, and I've been really happy with how he's performed. But the standout of the entire Asian squad through pre-season has been Christian Volpado. 21 years old, 9 under 20 caps, which looks a little odd on screen, since in real life he's actually capped for Italy rather than Australia. Not sure why the flag shows the way it does here, but those caps are almost certainly meant to represent his Italian youth career. Valued between 3 and 4.7 million, and I think that number is only going one way. His flair stat sits at 17, and it genuinely shows on the pitch. Anyone who's watched him play in real life will recognise it instantly. It's remarkable how closely Football Manager has captured his actual playing style. 3-star current ability, close to 4-star potential. He's been involved in everything. Goals, assists, the lot. a genuinely exciting player to watch develop. On form, Iran Kunda has been pushed to the bench, with Saeed El-Mala taking his place on the left wing purely through performance and strong training. Same philosophy as always, form dictates selection, not reputation. One significant setback, Alessandro Cercati has picked up a long-term ACL injury, ruling him out for 2 to 3 months. A big loss for the defence, and hopefully he can get back to full fitness soon. Quick update back on the CONMEBOL squad. Beraldo, our Brazilian centre-back, has picked up an injury and is currently on the sidelines recovering. Now let's check in on the rest of the academies, the teams that won't kick off competitively until later in the year. For these clubs, it's just a continuous programme of friendlies, roughly 4 a month, played on weekends to keep the squads sharp and, more importantly, to help identify who our best players actually are. It's also exposing genuine gaps in these squads, missing second strikers, backup goalkeepers, that kind of thing. The scouts are out there actively hunting to fill those holes, and hopefully we've got enough time for our own youth intake to start producing players who can plug some of those gaps naturally. First up, our main squad, the World Academy, playing in the Premier League. Here's how pre-season has gone. We opened with a 2-0 loss to Monaco, which was a genuinely interesting first look at how this project was going to play out. Despite having a star-studded squad on paper, everyone is so young that Monaco handled us fairly comfortably at home. We followed that with a draw against Roma before beating Manchester United 2-1, and then absolutely thrashing Tottenham Hotspur 9-0. The team is clearly starting to gel, or Tottenham simply fielded a weakened side, take your pick. Plenty of different goal scorers in that Tottenham game, Haaland grabbing a hat-trick, and Jude Bellingham picking up man of the match. Here's the starting 11 as it stands. It's genuinely surreal having all these names in one squad. A couple of standouts so far. Reece James is, true to real life, injured with a groin strain, 2 to 4 weeks out. Very on brand. Pedri has been outstanding in midfield, exactly as you'd expect from real life. 22 years old, 33 caps for Spain, valued between roughly 74 and 86 million, 4-star current ability, and 4.5-star potential. He's controlling games alongside Camavinga. And then there's Haaland. Does this one really need explaining? Valued between 106 and 118 million, 43 caps for Norway, 5-star potential ability, and he is simply putting the ball in the net constantly through pre-season. We're incredibly fortunate to have him, and that he even fits under our under-25 threshold for this squad. A few injury concerns though. Wesley Fofana is out 2 to 5 weeks with a torn hamstring, a big blow at centre-back. Nuno Mendes, Mickey van de Ven and Caicedo are all also currently sidelined and working their way back to full fitness. Now onto the UEFA Academy, our European side. Pre-season kicked off with a genuinely tough test straight away, a televised friendly against Bayern Munich at home, which we lost 3-1. I thought the boys did really well against a star-studded Bayern side. We followed that up with a 2-0 win over Wolfsburg and a 2-1 win over Sandhausen at home. Borussia Dortmund is next up, another televised fixture and a serious test. After that, we've also got Monaco lined up, which is genuinely fascinating, because it lets us directly compare how the European Academy handles Monaco against how the World Academy fared against the exact same opponent, remembering the World team lost 2-0 to them. More friendlies follow through February, with the actual Bundesliga season not kicking off until the 23rd of August. Here's the starting 11 as it's shaping up. A few standouts worth mentioning. Lucas Bergvall hasn't necessarily been the most eye-catching in matches, but he's an incredible trainer. 18 determination clearly driving that, consistently putting up training ratings of 8.8 to 9. 4 caps for Sweden, only 18 years old, valued between 47 and 58 million. Already a star player for us. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. If he keeps this training level up and starts translating it into match performances, he could well be pushing for a World Academy spot down the line. Lamine Yamal, on the other hand, has been genuinely disappointing through his limited appearances and has struggled with injuries. Only 2 games played so far. Ryan Cherky has also started slowly, despite his huge real-life reputation, though he showed signs of life in the last game against Sandhausen, and his underlying stats remain excellent. Kenan Yildiz has been excellent though, Turkish, 21 caps, 2 goals, only 19 years old, valued between 49 and 58 million, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. He's been genuinely impressive up front, 17 flair, very much in the same mould as Christian Volpato over in the Asian squad, and has looked really sharp on the left side. Beyond those names, it's honestly been a mixed bag for the European side so far. This squad still feels like it's finding its feet and gelling as a unit. Now let's check in on the Americas, our CONCACAF Academy, Central America. 2 friendlies played so far, a comfortable win over Cruz Azul, and a 6-0 win over Atlanta United 2, likely their reserve side. More friendlies lined up leading into their season opener on the 11th of July when they kick off in Liga MX. Here's how the squad is shaping up on early form. One genuine concern, we only have one goalkeeper on the books, Chris Brady, so scouting for a second keeper is now a real priority for this club. A few standouts though. Alex Freeman has been really impressive. 20 years old, American, already a star player valued between 6.4 and 8.6 million. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. Rock solid at right back, 17 natural fitness, and it genuinely shows in how he plays. Very interesting player to track going forward. Nathaniel Brown has continued to be solid, still carrying his German nationality with 4 caps. Hasn't converted to US citizenship yet, though we've already seen one nationality switch happen elsewhere in this project, so it remains one to watch. Lucas Koleosho is in a similar boat, still listed as American, which is encouraging. I'd be fairly confident he ends up declaring for the US whenever the next international window comes around. Paxton Aronson has been a genuine standout for this team, playing as the attacking midfielder. Nothing wildly flashy in his individual stats, but very well rounded across the board. 21 years old, 4 caps for the US, valued between 12.5 and 14 million, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Genuinely one of the best attacking midfielders I've seen across any of the 6 squads so far. His vision and the through balls he's been playing to the strikers have been really impressive. Brian Gutierrez, the Mexican, has also been very good. We've picked up some significant injuries in this squad though. A twisted ankle for Thomas Avils, a foot fracture for Kevin Paredes, and a torn knee ligament for Ricardo Pepi, 6 to 7 months out. A big blow, though we do have some depth up front to cover it. Something to keep monitoring as the save progresses. Now, onto the African Academy. Quick reminder. This is the CAF team, not CONCACAF, even though that's what you'll sometimes see labelled on screen. Purely a typo from when I first built the club in the editor. Easiest way to tell them apart is the Mr. Africa manager tag, and obviously the makeup of the squad itself. Preseason has been genuinely dominant. A 3-2 win over Orlando Pirates, a 5-0 win over Al Zamala SC, a North African side, and a 4-3 win over Sundowns. Plenty more friendlies lined up through February. This squad doesn't kick off its competitive season until the 13th of September, so there's still months of preseason ahead, hopefully giving our own youth intake time to produce some fresh talent for this squad by the time it matters. A couple of genuinely exciting names in this team. Michael Keode has been outstanding, Italian, with under 21 caps for Italy, but carrying African heritage as his second nationality. Look at his stats. 20 long throws, incredible work rate, natural fitness and pace. The perfect wing-back profile. 20 years old and remarkably cheap. Valued only between 190,000 and 850,000. If anyone watching plays Football Manager themselves and is hunting for a ridiculously cheap player with huge potential in a position that's hard to fill, this is exactly the kind of signing to go looking for. 3.5-star current ability straight out of the gate, 3.5-star potential. Genuinely excellent in game as well. I believe Congo is his second nationality. Juma Bar from Sierra Leone has also forced his way into the starting side purely through bench performances. 18 years old, already a star player, and again remarkably cheap, valued between just 30 and 300,000. His physical profile is frightening. 18 aggression, 16s across jumping, natural fitness and strength. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Another brilliant budget pickup if you're starting a new save yourself. Adam Asnou of Morocco has also been excellent at left back. 18 years old, already 3 caps for Morocco, valued between 23,000 and 250,000. Cheapest chips again. 16 technique, 16 flair, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. This entire squad is full of bargains. Another one who's forced his way into the side off the back of bench performances is Mukau from Congo. 20 years old, already capped twice internationally, valued between 300,000 and 650,000. 3-star current ability, 3-star potential, and he plays well above what his ability rating suggests. 16 flair, very well rounded across the board. And then there are the usual quality names too. El Canous has been quietly impressive. But the player who has genuinely excited me the most is 15-year-old Jeremy Monga. Born and raised in England, I believe he's come through the Fulham Academy, but he carries Congolese heritage, which is exactly why he's part of this squad. The hope being he eventually switches his international allegiance to Congo. Based on how he's playing and how his attributes are developing at this age, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if England scoop him up first and he ends up working his way into the European Academy or even the World Academy eventually. Remember the name Jeremy Monga. He's continued to perform brilliantly off the bench and has started a couple of games already, currently valued between 250,000 and 650,000. Remember that number, because I genuinely think it's about to skyrocket. 16 dribbling, 16 flair, 16 balance, 17 acceleration at just 15 years old. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential. Genuinely excited to watch this one develop. Now, some injury news, and one of these is actually a big deal for our nationality watch list. Chadi Riyad has picked up a significant injury. But the real headline is Willy Kambwala. Willy was born and raised in France, but roughly a week ago in the save, he declared his international allegiance for Congo. This is exactly the kind of thing I set out to test back in episode 1. Whether these players with second nationalities, surrounded by teammates from their own continent, would start switching allegiances naturally. And it's actually happened again. 20 years old, valued between 110,000 and 1.1 million, with genuinely strong stats. Realistically, he was probably never going to force his way into the senior French squad, given the sheer depth of talent France already has, so in some ways this one was always on the cards. He came through Manchester United's youth system before a 4.7 million move to Villarreal, and then on to us. Definitely one to keep watching. A few more injury updates to close this section out. Chadi Riyad is out with a torn ACL, Ousmane Diomande is out 3 to 6 weeks with a groin strain, and Akomak is also sidelined for a few weeks with a groin issue. Some genuinely exciting news for the CONMEBOL squad. The youth intake preview has arrived. Our youth setup is rated elite, a full 5 stars, but this particular intake has come back rated only 3 stars overall. Goalkeepers are graded C, fullbacks C, and attacking midfielders also C. It's showing as the 2025 youth intake, landing on the 20th of April 2025, with a 94-day countdown currently ticking over. I'm honestly not entirely sure yet whether that's when the next intake generates, or when these specific players actually become available to sign. I won't get too deep into assessing them until they're properly available. Looking at the breakdown, there isn't a huge amount to get excited about here. The only remotely promising areas are goalkeepers, fullbacks, and attacking midfielders, with everything else rated D, E, or F. No strikers, no wingbacks at all in this intake. For this squad specifically, that's a bit of a mixed blessing. We're already reasonably well stocked at fullback and attacking midfield, and we've got 2 goalkeepers on the books, so this intake might not actually solve much for us. That's the gamble with youth intakes though. Even with 5-star facilities and a 5-star academy, it's still a lucky dip. If anyone watching knows more about how intakes work in this version of the game, let me know in the comments. Still getting used to how things have changed compared to older versions of FM. As always, I keep a close eye on training performances, and anyone who stands out gets rewarded with a starting spot. Joel Ordóñez, who I've already mentioned as a real standout on the pitch, has also been outstanding in training, posting a 9.2 rating. Andrés Santos, Facundo Buonanotte, and Vinicius Tobias have all also posted ratings of 9 or above. So I've gone through the squad to check everyone's currently starting where they should be. Most of them already are. Andres Santos wasn't though, so I checked his best role. Looks like box-to-box or defensive midfield, and swapped him in for Diego Gomez. No issue with that decision at all. Diego's been good, but not exceptional, so Andres earns his spot on the back of his training form. That brings us to the end of this section. It's now the 25th of January, and we're finally ready to kick off our first ever competitive fixture, CONMEBOL against River Plate. Game day finally here. Here's the starting lineup we've settled on, based on form and the injury situation. I always do the suggested pre-game team talk, and I also listen to what my assistant manager recommends in the staff advice. He's flagged that we should be doing more to close down Marcus Acuna when the ball is played into him, so I've built that into our instructions. All our assistant managers were set up with genuinely excellent current and potential ability stats, so it's worth listening when they speak. Looking at the two squads side by side, we're noticeably thin compared to River Plate. Only 6 available substitutes on our bench, a reflection of where we're still at in building these squads out through scouting. Nico Paz wears the armband as captain. Team talk done, and here's River Plate's setup. A few genuinely recognisable names, Acuna at left back, Montiel at right back. And it looks like an absolute packed house here, away from home. We're lining up in a fairly narrow shape, built around the strengths and natural positions of this squad, and it's been working well through preseason, all trial and error at this stage. River Plate looks sharp in their distinctive home strip. We're looking fairly drab in the away kit by comparison, and we're underway. Early signs are good, 6th, 7th minute. We're edging possession slightly, and we've already had a shot on goal from a counter-attack down the right through Vinicius Tobias. He whips a cross in, the goalkeeper blocks, it falls to Milan Gomez who has a shot, also blocked, and we win a corner. Good early pressure. A free kick just outside the box shortly after. Mastantuono steps up, tries to finesse it into the top left corner, brilliant effort, but Armani produces a great save. Another corner. 10 minutes in, and we're controlling possession at 61%, 5 shots, 3 on target. Really encouraging start. I always begin games on either cautious or balanced and adjust from there, depending on how it's playing out. Another free kick around the 15th minute, this one deeper. Marlon Gomez will likely whip this into the box looking for a header. We've already had to make an early substitution though, Mastantuono picking up a knock, replaced by Estevao. Not ideal to lose a player that early, but a strong option coming on. The free kick is delivered, Alexander gets on the end of it, and somehow misses an absolute sitter right in front of goal. That's football for you when it falls to a full-back. Gave him a bit of encouragement from the touchline. He's not exactly expected to be finishing chances like that, but it was a golden opportunity spurned. Around this point, I shifted our tactical mentality from balance to positive. Possession had evened out to 50-50 by the 24th minute, but the underlying numbers, the shots, and the expected goals told me we had the edge, and it was worth pushing on. Great spell of possession deep in their half around the 24th minute. We win the ball back with an interception in midfield. Nico Paz drives at goal, cuts it back to Bonanot. Another brilliant save from Armani, another corner. We're really dominating in attacking areas here. 34th minute, still ahead in every underlying metric. Possession, shots, expected goals, and then River Plate win a free kick on the left edge of their box. Dangerous position for a whip delivery. It comes in, Marlon Gomez heads it clear, but it drops straight to Anibal Moreno, and he absolutely smashes it from outside the box. Top corner, no chance for our keeper. A genuinely brilliant strike. Not much we could realistically have done differently. Marlon Gomes won the header, it just fell to an unmarked player, and we didn't close him down quickly enough. Might be something in our defensive setup at free kicks worth reviewing, but that was pure class from Moreno, and we go one down in the 35th minute, completely against the run of play statistically. Sometimes that's just the reality of away football against a strong side with home advantage. Quick look at Moreno's profile since he's caused us problems. 25 years old, 3-star current and potential ability. Nothing that would put him on our radar for recruitment given the age restriction, but always worth noting players who hurt us for future reference. Shifted the mentality up again to attacking not long after. Approaching half-time, still leading in possession and shots, dead level on expected goals, 6-0 up on corners. But we need to start converting these chances, or this could get away from us. At the break, we're 1-0 down, despite thoroughly outplaying them in most metrics. River Plate look like they're playing a smart, patient counter-attacking game. soaking up our pressure and hitting us on the break. We've already used one substitution through injury, and Buonanotte has picked up a yellow card heading into the interval. Made a couple of half-time changes. Swapped Buonanotte off given the booking, moved Marlon Gomez forward into the attacking midfield role, and brought on Diego Gomez to replace Mastantuono. Reshuffled the midfield, Diego Gomez and Barco through the middle, André Santos in as the number 6, with Diego Gomez actually sitting as the more defensive option given his strengths there. That's 2 substitutions used, no more planned for now. Told the lads at half-time they'd been unlucky, which was genuinely true based on the run of play. Second half underway, and River Plate looked confident going in with a 1-0 lead. Straight into an attack from them, some really composed possession, Montiel holding the ball up and recycling it back through midfield. They're flexing a bit here, knocking it from left to right, win a corner down the left after we struggle to close down their winger. The corner comes in, they work it into the box, Quintero to Colidio, and it's 2-0 in the 56th minute. Genuinely, a beautiful team goal. That switch of play from left to right and back again was excellent build-up. Quick look at Facundo Colidio too. 25, almost identical profile to Moreno, 3-star current and potential, 16 technique. Again, too old for our recruitment purposes given the age cap. Right, change is needed. Wesley comes on at right wing-back, thinking about pushing him into more of an actual wing-back role rather than a standard full-back going forward. We're 2 down, and if we're going to lose this, I'd rather go down attacking than sit passively and accept it. Also bringing on Vega for Tobias, another attacking full-back option. Shifted the mentality all the way up to very attacking. The underlying stats say we've got every right to turn this around, and we've got the players capable of doing it. Both fullbacks are on now, still 2-0 down, and it's the 60th minute. We're dominating the underlying numbers, 53% possession, 16 shots, 8 on target, 2.12 expected goals. And we're pushing forward again. André Santos picks it up in midfield, plays it back to Vega, who finds Santos again, and it's fed through to Nico Paz. Paz lays it off to Estevão, who somehow misses a golden chance. A brilliant save from the River Plate keeper keeps it out, but we win a corner. Gave Estevão a bit of a nudge on the touchline. Told him I need more from him in front of goal. Paz picks it up again outside the box, feeds Barco, Barco crosses in. Estevão has a shot, but it clips a defender and is blocked. Vega drives down the left, whips in another dangerous ball, still nothing coming from it. But we're firmly on the front foot now. 64th minute, another attack. Vega finds Barco, Barco lays it back, a lovely 1-2 between them. Vega has genuinely made a real difference since coming on. Diego Gomez picks it up, plays it to Estevão, who lays it off to Wesley, streaming down the right. Brilliant cross from Wesley, and it's a goal. Marlon Gomez, attacking midfielder, meets it with a great header. He has been one of our best today, 2-1. The comeback might genuinely be on. Full credit to Wesley for the delivery and Marlon Gomes for the finish. Those 2 full-backs coming on has completely transformed this game. 68th minute, and disaster of a different kind. Nico Paz has gone down injured, and we don't have a recognised striker left on the bench to replace him. Had to think on my feet here. The only real option is to push Estevão up front as our striker, bring Paz off, and reshape the whole system. Switched to 3 at the back with wing-backs, V. Gomez coming in as an additional centre-back, a flat 3 in midfield of Barco, Diego Gomez, and André Santos, Marlon Gomez staying central as the attacking midfielder, and Estevão isolated up top. Ended up looking a bit like a Christmas tree formation on the tactics board. 71st minute, a corner whipped in, spills to the edge of the box. André Santos picks it up and recycles it, wins it back, finds Diego Gomez with a lovely little through ball, and Barco makes the run and slots it into the bottom right corner. 2-2 against River Plate. Beautiful goal. All started from a corner that broke to the edge of the area. Genuinely brilliant work from Diego Gomez and Barco there. The midfield did everything right to win that ball back, and Barco showed real intelligence with the run. Pushed us straight back to a fully attacking mentality. We're level, and we've got all the momentum. 84th minute now, and River Plate build from a goal kick, working their possession game again. Galvan bursts down the left, gets into the box, whips in a cross, and it's a goal. Fernando Quintero puts them back in front, 3-2. Possibly pushing all the way to ultra-attacking left us exposed at the back. VAR takes a look at it, decision stands, goal awarded. 3-2 down with limited options left to change things. Really just left with going all-out attack again and hoping for something late. River Plate have pulled off something close to a masterclass here. We started well, fought back brilliantly to level it, but they've found a way to edge back in front, 3-2. One last attack in the 93rd minute. Estevão wins the ball, Marlon Gomez feeds it back to him, and Estevão misses another sitter. That's genuinely been the story of his afternoon. 3 clear chances missed now. To be fair to him, he's not a natural striker, thrown into the role out of necessity, but it's been a costly day in front of goal. And that's full time, 96 minutes played, all over. Their goalkeeper Armani picks up man of the match. Told the boys they were unlucky, and honestly, on the balance of play, they were. That's our first ever competitive match in the books. See you for the next one.